5 deadlifts. The weight is 410. It is offset by a 45-pound plate onto the male side. Then they'll move on to 45 chest-to-bar pull-ups. They must be synchronized. Second pairing, 27 and 18. Third pair, 21, 15, 9. All athletes doing 45 and 45. We just get to break it up a little bit as we move from pair 1 to pair 3. Your lane assignments for Heat 3 team event number 1. Some of your top 10 teams to keep your eye on in lane 2. CrossFit Reykjavik, CrossFit Sala out of Sweden. They're in lane at number 6. What is it about all these teams in Sweden being so darn good?
I don't know what it is. I mean, I think it's kind of like Iceland. You get some talent, you get other people interested in the sport, and then they get into the boxes, and then from there on it just kind of grows. I mean, if I was in Iceland and I saw Annie, I'd want to get into a box real fast.
Annie's team, CrossFit Reykjavik, is in lane number 2.
So I'm just throwing out the curveball here. You may want to keep an eye on Team Yas. Now, they haven't competed at the regionals with European teams before, but it does look like a very impressive, strong team coming out of Dubai. I think they are.
CrossFit Yas in lane number 4, so they're in a great place as far as lane assignments are concerned. Your best teams will be seated in the middle 3 lanes, so 4, 5, and 6. Now, after event 1 and event 2, there will be some reseeding going into tomorrow, so it's imperative that these teams get into the top 10.
Absolutely.
45 deadlifts at 410 pounds as the third and final heat of team number 1 is underway. They have to do 15 reps as a time as they move their way up the floor.
And we're going to see some different strategies here. We're going to see some teams that have already decided how they're going to break it into smaller chunks, and we're going to see teams trying to go for the full Monty before they need to move the bar forward. It's on the pull-ups that we've seen in the past that this is decided, so I'm not sure if it really matters all that much. It's all depending on what kind of athletes and grip strength they've got available.
We typically don't see a whole lot of separation within the first 45 repetitions, but we do see it in the second set of 45, mainly on the pull-up bar. And that is, I believe, in the first pair. That's really where teams are going to separate themselves on that synchronized pull-ups.
Absolutely. And I mean, it's one of these things where you see the transition from the deadlift to the pull-up and then coming back again. Some teams are going to sprint, others are going to take it easy. It's like, what kind of momentum do you have coming in, and what can you hold on to?
Lane number 2 in the orange and black, Reykjavik. Early leaders.
And there's no surprise there. I mean, they're just seasoned athletes. So you've got Anna Hulda, the Reykjavik athlete on the left. And I mean, she's been there before. And you know, that kind of experience can't be faked. You can't match that. It just kind of makes a calm go through the entire team.
10 teams tackling 45 partner deadlifts at 410 pounds as we pass the 90-second mark of this third and final heat. But the first team off the bar, Yas, just a little dark horse. So Yas will be the first team. They're in the blue and black. As just to the right of them, CrossFit Fabriken.
And then you've got Team Butcher's Lab sprinting to the bar. You've got the Reykjavik team as well, and then you've got Idle on lane number 1. I mean, we've got a lot of good teams on the bar as CrossFit Nordic casually makes a walk to the bar.
A lot of good teams and a lot of past games teams.
Absolutely. The Solid team has 3 athletes from the Tegan team that finished really well last year at the games. So I mean, it's a lot of these guys. It's not their first rodeo, so to speak.
Your early leaders in lane number 4, CrossFit Yas out of Dubai. They are in the blue and black to the left of them. JST Black bracketing on the right side for Fabriken. But it is Yas who are the early leaders off the deadlift bar. But we see that's not necessarily the same team that gets off the pull-up bar.
Not at all. Not at all. And not even with the first repetitions. It's always easy to get the first 4 or 5 out of the park. But then what happens? Are you going to keep in sync? Are you going to keep the momentum going? And how's the communication?
As our first pair is navigating through 45 synchronized chest-to-bar pull-ups. Once they are done, they must sprint across the competition floor to let loose their second pair And when we're talking event record, which we do, especially when we're talking with the top 10 teams coming out of the Meridian Regional so far, the event record 12:22 set by NorCal CrossFit last weekend at the California Regional. The first split, 4 minutes and 12 seconds. So keep your eye on the clock, top left corner of your screen, to see where these teams are in relation to that first split time.
Exactly. And what we may want to keep in mind is that the second team that came out from NorCal in that region were actually faster than the first team. So even if you're a little bit behind the championship pace, so to speak, on the first pair, that doesn't really mean anything coming out into the next. It's can you keep that momentum going through the entire time?
Well, speak to me about those pairs, Matt. As a coach yourself, you saw as far as NorCal was concerned, 4:12 because of 45 and 45. That second pairing was faster than the first, and maybe breaking it up had something to do with that. Do you change your grouping based off the collective work as well as I would say, the talent of your athletes?
Absolutely. I mean, it's definitely, I mean, it all comes down to strategizing. Now, these teams aren't going to have a hard time. Like, look at that. CrossFit Fabriken, 4:19, 4:20 coming off to release the next pair. Then after that, we got CrossFit Turkum. And I'm just going to throw it out there. Jonas Müller is an absolute beast on the left side of your screen in the yellow shirt. He's a beast. And the Turkum team they're not beginners either. And then CrossFit Yas currently in third. This is a competitive heat, and it's going to change all the time.
Fabriken was off the bar at 4:20, just 8 seconds off the event record pace.
Exactly.
Now we don't know if that was their best pairing as far as NorCal is concerned.
Yep.
I'd be curious to see how Fabriken's second pair is in relation. The time split, 3 minutes and 48 seconds as opposed to the 4:12 for NorCal. So Fabriken is trying to just stay ahead because we've got Turkum and Yas just behind them by mere seconds, a 5-second to 10-second lead, so it's pretty close.
As individual entities, I'd say they're good to go. They're going to be able to maintain this. It's just we don't know how do they work as a team yet.
Fabriken off the 27 deadlift, so 5:28. Fabriken out of Malmo, Sweden.
And now the lengthy dude on your right-hand side, David Carlson, he is an absolute beast on a barbell. I'm looking forward to seeing him on the pull-ups, how he's going to do on that. See there go, and you see him looking at his female partner and basically just trying to pace himself off of her pace. And this looks very promising indeed. I'm happy to see how they work, but I'd like to see in a perfect world that they get on the bar just a little bit faster.
Fabriken on the pull-up bar first, but Yas solid, and Turkum keeping pace. Only a couple rep lead. They got to the bar first. They didn't start right away. They're breaking up into small sets. You can see them taking quite a big rest, just resting their arms on their knees. So they might have taken those first 27 deadlifts out a little quick.
And that's what happens. You get into a setting like this and you want to talk to your athletes about it before you start. What is going to happen when you get in there? You've got 5,000 people in the audience who are going to start yelling at you. You know what times to beat. Are you going to stick to your guns, or are you going to go just a little bit faster than you really want to?
Your top 4 teams in the third and final heat for Team Event 1, right across the board, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Early leaders as they are into their second pair. So they have 27 deadlifts at 410 pounds, followed by 27 chest to bar pull-ups. Fabriken in lane 5, 1 more pull-up remaining, and they'll move back to the barbell for 18 repetitions at 410 and 18 chest to bar pull-ups to round out the 45 total.
And with CrossFit Fabriken, you know it's never going to be the option. The problem is never going to be the barbell. That's not it. CrossFit's solid, getting some really good butterfly-style chest-to-bar pull-ups knocked out of here. That's Alexander Elebro on one side and Amanda Frandén on the other. Just, new athletes but hungry in a very experienced team. That's a good combination.
Fabriken doing everything to hang on to their edge, but let's throw it down to Amanda Krentz, who's on the floor.
So you guys, these synchronized chest-to-bar pull-ups, according to the team from UK, CrossFit 1664, they are cheeky. They are hard to do. They spent a lot of time practicing them. And the pair that I spoke to ended up doing the kipping pull-ups because it was just easier for them to do that, to make sure that their chests hit the bar at the same time. Of course, they wanted to butterfly because it's quicker. But the gentleman said that he looked over at his partner because he was able to slow the pull-ups down if he needed to. He had a little bit more strength. So something that we're seeing these pairs do as well.
Thanks, Amanda. As we're navigating through the second pairing of team event number 1, and Fabriken moving their way up to the bar there in lane number 5 in the blue and black center part of the rig. They have 18 chest to bar pull-ups before the third and final pair is underway. And we have passed well past the 8-minute mark, which was the second time split for that event record. So the event record is safe for at least another heat. We have 2 more regionals still to go. Although it's a little bit early in the morning for that time.
Absolutely. At least the event record looks like it's going to be safe for a while. It's not going to be threatened from here, I don't think. However, we are going to see some fast times at the end. I'm confident that a lot of these teams are going to be able to finish the workouts. And I mean, they're competing with each other at this regional. However, there is an ego, and of course they want to go out there and perform well compared to other regions as well.
Fabriken on the left side of your screen, early leaders. They have about 10 more pull-ups to go, but CrossFit Solid to their right in lane 6 is keeping pace, as well as Yas on the left. 5 reps remaining for CrossFit Fabriken. The best time set by CrossFit Ikestad, 18:26.6 was the best time to beat, as we are at 9:30. So if Fabriken can get through these pull-ups within the next 30 seconds, that time does not look very secure once that third pair goes.
Oh, that's true. And here we got CrossFit Turkum out of nowhere. It's Jonas Muller's the team, sprinting to the finish. And that's what happens on these workouts. You think you know who's coming, and we'll be looking at CrossFit Fabriken, who are finishing now, and out of left field, CrossFit Turkum sneaks out the lead.
So Turkum onto the barbell for 21:15.9, sneaks past Fabriken, so Fabriken labored on the pull-up bar a lot more than they did on the barbell. So Fabriken trying to now keep pace is for that second place position. Their second pair is underway in the gray and black. To the right of them, Solid still hanging close for that third place position.
Absolutely.
Your current leaders on the right side, Turkum has about a 10-second lead on Fabriken and Solid.
Yep. And it's going to be interesting to see how they manage that 10-second lead. Is that going to give them confidence, or is it going to fire them up and they're maybe going to go a little bit fast? I mean, we've seen everything happen, and with so many transitions. The interesting part on the right-hand side of the screen in the yellow shirt is Benny Bachman. Now, Benny Bachman is one of these guys who's been there. He's been a part of the community when there was no community. So he knows what it's like at regionals. He's been there gunning it out since just garage shows. And you look at him kind of pacing himself off the female athlete as well.
Turkum on the right side of your screen, current early leaders. They took it over Fabriken, who's in lane number 5. Fabriken in the gray and black. Solid, keeping pace.
And that's CrossFit Idol on the far side, finishing up as well.
Turkum on the right, CrossFit Solid in lane number 6, and if that mustache looks familiar, that's old Team Tegan Sledmasters from last year's CrossFit Games.
That is Rickard Lander. Now that is a workhorse. He's also been a part of the community forever. He's competed in everything you can compete. And last year he was one of the anchors on the Tegan team that did so well, just absolutely annihilating the sled events at the games.
So CrossFit Solid maybe being a new name for us. It's not a new team as far as the athletes are concerned. So Solid, definitely one of those teams to look out for as the weekend continues. Lane 5, CrossFit Fabriken has retaken the lead over Turkum in lane number 7. Turkum just 2 reps behind. So they're Fabriken 10-second lead on Turkum. CrossFit Solid trying to stay in that third place position, but Yas also in the hunt. So 4, 5, 6, and 7 is kind of anybody's race as we move from 21 now up to 15.
And this is going to come down to the it's going to come down to the wire. This is going to change back and forth even more than this. Nobody's solidified their leads yet, and everybody's right next to each other so they can tell what they need to do.
At the 12:40 mark, best time 18:26, set in heat number 1. Yas in lane number 4, left side of the screen in the blue and black. Fabriken, your leaders after the set of 15, making their way to the pull-up bar for 15 synchronized chest bar pull-ups, as Todicum and Solid in lanes 6 and 7 are battling it out. So second place is kind of all up for grabs. Fabriken is overtake that first place position.
Yep. And look at them right now. They look really, really synchronized. They look good. I mean, of course, they're synchronized. Otherwise, there'd be no rep. But they look really confident in when they get on the bar, when they get off. They know what the plan is. You see them looking at the other heats as well.
Fabriken holding on to first, but Solid has moved up ahead of Turicum and Yas. So Solid is in lane 6.
And that's what you get when you have a balanced team, where you don't have to worry about anybody who's going to be the weak link and we have to hide them. Because, I mean, with Dave Castro's programming, there's nowhere to hide. We're going to find you.
And that's what's been unique over the programming coming into last year specifically. It was the first time we've seen all team members having to do every single part of the workout. So Fabriken in lane 5 are off the pull-up bar as we hit the 14-minute mark, well ahead of the best time to beat pace. So they have 9 deadlifts and chest bar pull-ups. Holding on to second place, Yas in lane 4, just to the left of them. They have about a 10-second lead, but Fabriken, whose second pairing didn't handle the pull-ups as well, this third pairing, well, now we know why they're going last.
Exactly. I mean, they've got a sprint pair in the end that could get along really well. They've got their timings on both the barbell and the pull-up rig really, really well, and that's smart.
But Fabriken back to the rig. 9 chest bar pull-ups remaining to their right. Solid is off the bar. Turicum has fell well off the pace.
Yes, which is a surprise, to be honest. It's the first event. I don't think they're going to be too phased, but I am surprised by it. Yeah.
Lanes 4 and 5, Yas, who is behind off the pull-ups, just blew past CrossFit Fabriken. So Fabriken is taking too much of a break on the pull-up bar. We've kind of saw it in their last pair as well. And Yas, they just left the door open for CrossFit Yas, so Fabriken will finish in second.
And it's what we talked about before.